I ended up going down the route of this Italian disco vibe, and there's some beautiful imagery here. But there was just a certain theme of color running through it, which was this real fuchsia pink and this electric green. Here is a really good example of how those clashy colors have so much life to them.
Yeah, and I think that was a real. It's really interesting because at the start of this conversation, you were talking about knowing when to kind of leave your own aesthetic tastes and things like that. Maybe you know leaving them to the side. But I think this is a perfect example of where it's like you're bringing in your own interests in music and your own interests in, um, maybe like interest in subcultures and interest in genres and bringing them together in an
Yeah,
appropriate way. We're looking at pizza, we're looking at Italian music, we're looking at Italian culture, and just bringing it all together in bringing all that into this pizza place in Bath, which kind of needs that injection of energy. It needs that Italo disco energy. Fantastic. And just to kind of like that, I think it's one of the magic moments of graphic design, is that where you can kind of bring into all of these kind of disparate things and just bring them together to create something that feels cohesive and it tells a story. And I think when you kind of brought this to the table and you're like, look, I've got these ideas and this is, I'm listening to these playlists and it feels exciting. And that energy was infectious, wasn't it? And I think from there, that's when it kind of really just took on a whole new life of its own. Can we see how that evolved?
exactly that. That's where it really took off. That's where it really took off. And next thing you know, we've got the 3D version of the logo, which really felt like it was lifting off the page. And as soon as I started mocking it up, I thought this is really going somewhere. It felt like it almost felt like a kitsch version of those uh, for sale um, discount signs. It feels like that place is trying to sell a sofa at 70% off, and it's almost that the most attention grabbing um, type and color imaginable. And this is when things, dare I say it, this is when things started getting a bit too much. When I started um, playing around with these colors, there was one moment in particular when I mocked up what the app would look like, and it just feels like it feels like your pizza either isn't going to turn up, or you're going to get double charged, or they're going to take all the money from your bank account. This felt like I remember spending quite a long time on this, then stepping back and going, "This actually isn't the one. This isn't working." And it just felt way too oversaturated, and it was the opposite a to a feast for the eyes. It was a five course meal, which ended up making you feel a bit sick. Yeah. But gradually, I kind of toned things down. Mainly just using it on a white or transparent background really helped to sell it in. Um, and this was a lovely moment, just
Yeah.
bringing together some of the tone of voice alongside the type lockup, stand by preparing for liftoff. And it was one of those moments where when you step back and you go, no, actually, I would wear that t-shirt. I'd wear that t-shirt. That's when you know things are working out.